Yo, what is good, everybody? It is your boy, Golden Falls, Golden What Ifs, whatever you want to call me, and I am back. This is the finale of What If Deku had Toji's Heavenly Restriction. And if y'all enjoyed the series, make sure to show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. I appreciate all the support that I got on the video. I appreciate all the love that I've gotten from you guys. My viewership, I'm not gonna lie, I'm very transparent about this type of stuff. My viewership has been absolutely insane recently, so I do appreciate it. And that's a big reason why I felt inclined to go back to the daily content, just to show love to you guys for how much support you guys have been giving me, especially coming back to this old style of content. You guys know I left it for a while. You guys know I went on, did some other stuff, tried some new stuff out, and it was fun and it was great, and I still love this version of the content. But I'm a man of the people, so if you guys want this, I'm gonna give it to you guys. So with that said, I don't want to waste much more of your time because I want to get right into the what if. Let's get it. Izuku Midoriya and Mirio Togata are staged as heroes. Frankly, they are the future of hero society, and they are the future of what is to come. And a lot of people believe that both Mirio and Izuku should be held at the highest level of hero. And frankly, I don't know if I disagree. And I don't think many people disagree either, but they have to understand that Izuku is still just a kid. He is still young, even though he is strong and mature for the age that he's currently at, but he still has a lot to learn. And Aizawa believes that to be true as well. And well, let's just say there's a lot of things they're going to have to deal with, especially coming over the horizon, because just because they decided and actually executed putting 3 major villains away in prison doesn't mean that those villains are done just yet. Because Izuku Midoriya, he may be doing his normal high school stuff with a coming tournament of some sorts versus Class 1A versus Class 1B, but there are other things that are array, and very, very soon, other things that are going to come that are going to absolutely put everybody on the back foot. Now, let's start with the the Class 1A versus Class 1B battle. Now, this battle right here is a very basic one. Izuku would have no struggle in this at all. Izuku would actually solo the entire team that he has to go against, and his team personally would absolutely destroy the other team. I mean, there are no restrictions here, and Izuku would have no struggle taking them down. And this was a good taste, you could say, of what this world truly is. This academia world, it truly is. But Izuku knows that this world is not as simple as academia, and it's not going to be as simple as academia, at least not for now. Now, this would lead to Izuku still working with Sir Night-Eye's agency, being that Sir Night-Eye still is alive and still working really hard. And he continues to work with Mirio and Sir Night-Eye, and having the 2 strongest up-and-coming heroes in his agency, let's just say his funding, his productivity, and everything to do with his agency is on the up and up. And this would include their research looking toward different places in Japan. They know that they've done massive progress to stopping villains, but there has to be others out there. And, well, there definitely are. There's not only other villains out there, like, well, villains that are kind of isolated on their own, and many of these villains have been being ignored, being that the Liberation Front, but also villains that maybe are still under All for One, or even the Shihazaikai hiding away. They're not sure which one, but they know that they exist to a large degree. This would lead them to actually finding out that there are plans to come very, very soon. Even an insider by the name of Hawks is actually relaying information via coded messages about specific things that he actually learns on the inside of some of these, let's just say, villain groups. Now, these villain groups are well, small and far and from in between, and there's not that many of them at the moment. But he does learn that there's a plan very soon in the next 2 months, known as Plan Prison Break. And it seems as if this plan is to break out All for One and also Shigaraki and many others from the prison they're being currently held in. And luckily this information is able to be relayed to the prison and also other places, so that they can actually get a hold and actually get things fully structured. Because they do know that they still have a quote-unquote traitor in UA. A traitor in UA is something that is very, very sketchy, but they've been kind of holding off on it because everything has gone pretty good for the most part. But the prison break scenario might be when the traitor is forced or actually shows their face. Now, the planning for the prison break scenario has a lot to do with just other agencies. Now, Izuku doesn't plan necessarily a ton with UA itself, but he is somewhat inclined in that planning that they decide to do in terms of the protection of the prisoners and also the protection of UA as well. But this would be mostly involved in the hero agencies, putting an actual strain on the traitor himself, because this does make it extremely hard for the traitor to know and to actually figure out what's going on in its totality. Now, the traitor may know for the most part what the villain's plans are, but they don't know what the hero's plans are for the full degree. Now, Izuku and also Mirio plan to be the front line of defense when it comes to the prison break scenario, and they continue to train, even so much so that Mirio begins to reveal that he actually has other quirks. Now, he quickly realizes the usage of these other quirks are tearing his body apart, and it's really, really bad. So much so that he actually feels as if his body is splitting in two. Now, he feels this way in terms of like his body seems to be getting drained a lot quicker, seems like he's a little bit sicker, and all of these other things, and it's absolutely horrible for Mirio himself. Now, he doesn't really tell many people about this, unfortunately, and he doesn't really want to in general. He feels that he should be able to handle what's to come with this one-for-all quirk, but what he doesn't know is that the one-for-all quirk is just getting stronger and stronger as quirks begin to arise. Now, with that said, they continue their planning stage of the prison break scenario, but one thing they couldn't plan for is something that would be absolutely terrifying, and that is Gigantomachia, a monstrous being that is, well, mountainous, giant, someone that is as big as a mountain. And this right here is something that they really couldn't plan very in-depth for. They try to figure out ways that they could stop him, but it's extremely difficult. And all they can think about is putting the stronger beings on the front line and hoping that maybe someone like Midnight can actually stop him by using her quirk to subdue him. Now, this would lead them to the very day that the prison break would arise, and let's just say there are many Nomus that would come barreling forward. But that's not the only thing that would come barreling forward. It seems as if there are other villains that have been added to the fray. Yes, they were able to handle some of the Liberation Front, like heroes here and there, but the Liberation Front actually ended up scattering and getting picked up by some of these other villains that were recruiting to get All for One out of prison. But the main goal is to stop Gigantomachia, a monstrous being that is barreling toward the prison as they speak. And when they try to hold off Gigantomachia, well, let's just say Izuku and Mirio realize that this thing is strong, monstrously strong. They try to take him down and use anything they possibly can to defeat him, but it's almost on the degree of impossible. And all they could think about is the best thing they could do is subdue him. So Izuku begins to actually use his scarf. Yes, Aizawa's scarf, and a lot more of it to try to restrain Gigantomachia, actually taking a page out of a Star Wars movie and wrapping up Gigantomachia's legs as he actually trips over the scarf that is being wrapped around him by Izuku and also Mirio. Bakugo is there to help to try and get the monstrous being down, and many other support items, support things, and also other quirks are trying to be used to mold Gigantomachia to the ground so that they can utilize Midnight's quirk to actually subdue him. And slowly but surely it seems to be working. They hold him down, but then quickly Nomus would overrun, forcing some of the other heroes that were there helping to actually stall away, trying to defeat the Nomus as well. And it seems like these Nomus are extremely powerful. It seems like they are on the same level as the high grade, but not as on the high end, but not on the same level as the overhaul infused Nomu. Well, luckily enough, because that was a main boss in itself. But Izuku and Mirio continue to hold down Gigantomachia, and Mirio even shows off one of his new quirks known as Black Whip. Black Whip extends from his body and it begins to hold down Gigantomachia in its entirety. But other villains begin to run amok. It seems like the Meta Liberation Front, or the villains that they've known very little about, to be honest, begin to actually make a difference in all of this. They begin to make a massive difference and begin to boost everybody around or everybody in the area. And well, let's just say the main boss, Redestro, is a handful in itself. And luckily enough, you have some of the stronger heroes there, so they're able to somewhat handle the difficulty of some of these stronger villains. But the struggle to try and get Gigantomachia passed out and put away, on top of dealing with these other villains that, let's be honest, their quirks are massively unknown to the heroes at the area or in the area, it becomes a massive issue, and becomes an issue that becomes very, very, very difficult to deal with. Now, they continue to handle it as best as they possibly can, but the villains continue to scratch and claw their way to the prison that is currently trying to be sieged and currently trying to be, well, defended at the moment. Now, this would lead them to getting very close to the prison. Nomus actually scratching at the bit, almost getting there. Some breaking through certain walls, but it seems like as a Nomu breaks through one of the walls, it seems that a force field of some sorts begins to overlay on the prison as the prison begins to shake. As the prison begins to shake, it begins to actually levitate up slightly, and it seems to be getting moved away from the current location. It seems like the support course and also a ton of other support heroes have basically finally found a way to up and move the support or the prison with support items to make sure that the fight isn't affected during this time. Now, they continue to battle, but the moving of this building has helped quite a bit. Other heroes like Endeavor and Hawks are able to pin down some of the Nomus that are trying to get there, but they're able to stop them basically just in time. But just as they think that everything's going to go perfectly well, everything begins to change. The bubble around the prison begins to fracture and shatter into pieces, seemingly breaking and turning off, and the levitation device that is currently pulling it away then stops, and it slowly but surely slams the prison into the ground nearby. Everybody is shocked to see this, wondering how the hell this happened, but soon someone would get caught tampering with the support barrier and also the support tech that is currently moving the prison, and that person would be Yuga Aoyama. Yeah, Aoyama has now messed with and also has changed the feat of the battle in terms of making it still in reach for the villains. But luckily enough, the support heroes have a second plan, especially because they have now caught Aoyama in the act. So they're able to stop him and many of the other heroes that are basically involved in the making of the support kind of weaponry and the support shield and movement device, have now reactivated it once again after catching Aoyama. But this still gave the villains enough time to try and hitch a ride on the prison, leading to Izuku actually having to go and face them in that said prison. Now, Izuku would head over to the prison to try and stop these villains, and let's just say it's not as easy as you would think it would be, being that there are other criminals within the prison that are trying to break out and are currently trying to, well, find a way to get out, especially ones like All For One and many others. But obviously some of them are bounded up a little bit more than others. So Izuku has to try his best to stop any villains and Nomus from actually crashing and destroying parts of the prison so that nobody else can actually get out. Now, this leads to a absolute ruckus inside the prison that Izuku continues to battle while the outside people actually subdue everything else. And it seems like everyone is actually good. It seems like Gigantomachia is now subdued. All the other villains are subdued as well. But soon they look back to see the prison and they see two people step out, and that is All For One and Shigaraki. But as they step out, Izuku comes barreling through, smashing into them, tackling them out of the prison, but straight into the ground. Immediately, the other heroes converge on both of them, and yes, they put up some sort of a fight, but a weakened All For One and also a Shigaraki that it has been basically put away for a while and has not been able to evolve to his next event, does not have enough power to actually stop this. So the UA trader may have given them the opening that they needed to escape, but unfortunately, with the other villains subdued, there was no escaping to unfold their true master plan. And Izuku Midoriya and Mirio Togata and many others were able to stop them before making a complete and utter catastrophe happen in Japan itself. Now, this would be kind of their happy ending here. I mean, they would all get put back in prison. Everybody would set up certain things to subdue the more monstrous beings that have been captured here today. And, well, luckily enough, the one by the name of Eri, who was saved not too long ago, is having a good life. And Izuku Midoriya, well, he's on track to becoming the greatest hero alive, even besides someone like Mirio. But unfortunately, Mirio would be dealing with a ton of issues himself, especially after the battle and having the utilization of other quirks in need of basically stopping the other villains. Well, it has made him incredibly weak and also incredibly kind of hurt. And right now, there is nothing they can necessarily do, at least not at the moment, because Eri pledges that she's going to make sure that she is trained and well enough to revert him so that he's no longer hurting and suffering, and well, the passing on of One For All, or maybe even the movement of One For All from one person to another may be imminent, or unless they can find a way to make it so he only has One For All as a quirk, well, maybe that's the only way to truly save him in the long run. But for now, let's just say it's one for the good guys and one for the people that are actually the heroes, and Izuku Midoriya continues his path to become the greatest and #1 hero in the world. And that is the end of What If Deku had Toji's Heavenly Restriction. And if you enjoyed, show some love, leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. I don't really got much to say. I hope y'all enjoyed, like I said. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what the next video will be. Well, I know the next video will be a compilation of these videos, but I don't know what the next series is going to be. I haven't decided just yet. But we'll see. It might be a Deku what if. It might be actually be a story-based Tanjiro what if. I haven't 100% decided yet. But if you enjoyed, like I said, as always, show some love. Leave a like, leave a sub, leave a comment down below, all that good stuff. And yeah, that's all I got to say. And I hope all you guys have an amazing day. Later.